Hi everybody, it's Carla with Cobweb Corner Cross Stitch and welcome to FlossTube number 35. It's been quite a while since my last video. Since I've seen you last, we've gone to Vegas for 4 nights and we had a fabulous time. Didn't do anything super exciting. We did watch the playoff game, but we were rooting for the Green Bay Packers and that didn't go too well, but we had a lot of fun watching. It's a fun place to watch a football game, Vegas is. Unfortunately, when we got home, the night we got home, both my husband and I got sick. And so I've been putting this video off, trying to, Bo has just been a pure pest today. So we'll see how this goes too. But I've been putting this video off because I can't quit coughing. And it's been just over a week since I got sick. And I feel pretty good. I'm tired, but the cough is just persisting. So if you see a lot of pauses in the video, it's because I needed to pause and cough. I got my water here and we'll see how it goes. We reached 600 subscribers. We went right from 500 to 600. I do have a giveaway today, but nothing super special. I need to think about that a little bit more. But thank you everyone for subscribing. I just can't tell you how fun this journey on FlossTube has been. And I looked up, my first FlossTube was February 27th. So, you know, I was a long way from one a week, but I think I did pretty good with 35 so far in less than a year. And it's just been so much fun. And thank you everyone for your interest and following. Couple of personal things I wanted to share with you. I just find this type of stuff fascinating. I have a great uncle in my family who died, I think in 1951. It was my mother's uncle, and his name was George Stimpson, S-T-I-M-P-S-O-N, and he lived in Washington, D.C. during his adult life, and he was eventually president of the National Press Club. And he wrote a few books. The books he wrote were all trivia, like all you wanted to know about the Bible and, you know, why are things the way they are, that type of thing. And then he worked on the news magazine, The Pathfinder. And he corresponded with his parents, specifically his mother. And all of the correspondence between the two of them has been kept. And my grandmother on my mother's side, that family just kept everything. And I never have been very interested in it. But my mom gave me this box and she said, I'm going to be giving this box to your cousin, cousin Julie, who is really into genealogy and family history and that type of stuff. And she goes, that's going to be going to her to see if the National Press Club Museum would like to have any of Uncle George's things, but I want you to go through it first. And in the box of things my mother gave me were his letters, a big pile of letters that he had written to his mother. It would be around the age of 24, 25 was when the letters started. And they started in 1923. And I ran across one today that I want to read the portion of to you. So this one was dated May 18th, 1923. And he's writing to his mother and he says, yesterday I went to the All Souls Church here in Washington. It is a Unitarian church and is Chief Justice Taft's church. The minister is surely a wonderful speaker. Excuse me. The Chief Justice came in just like everybody else would and sat down in a seat a little off to one side as if he were lonesome. In the afternoon, I went down to hear Helen Keller, the famous deaf, dumb, and blind woman. She really is dumb, for she has learned to talk, but cannot hear her own voice, and consequently her voice sounds very peculiar. You can hardly understand her. It is a pitiful sight to see her. Our measly little troubles shrink up to nothing when we compare them with hers and what she has overcome. Wherever I possibly can, I always go to see famous people who come here because I may not have the opportunity to do such things long, meaning he might not be in Washington, D.C. long. But I read that and I was like, oh my gosh, he went to see Helen Keller. So I wanted to share that because I just think it's fascinating. I'm going to pause here and cough. Sorry about that. I'm sure there's going to be more than one of those. So when I was starting, I was been watching a lot of FlossTube videos, and people have been doing their kind of year reviews. So I thought I would do mine too. And when you see my year in review, it's going to be a lot less than a lot of people's finishes and work in progresses. But keep in mind that until I started watching FlossTube a year ago, I hadn't finished a cross stitch project in 20 years. So I actually, as I was going back through everything, was pretty happy with myself. So first of all, I'll show you what I'm currently working on and where I'm at. Just a reminder, I'm working on Sunflowers Farm by Core Ebati Core. And last time I had just started filling in the sunflowers. I have not worked hardly at all in the last few weeks. So I finished filling in the sunflowers. I got to move my Q snaps. That's always a good thing. And then I started the table up here and I finished this little bee. So that's where I am at that. It's going to go pretty fast now, I think. So I've just started this table up here, right there, that section. And all I have left after that is this word Sunflowers Farm and these sunflowers and then the border. And I'll be done. So, and I think the border will go pretty quick. So I love, love, love this pattern. I've said that before. I'm going to say it again. So what else am I currently have in progress? Earlier in the year, I started a girl reading book on dragon. And I looked for the photo of this and I couldn't find it. So I stopped working on this. I absolutely love the original design. It's based on a drawing by a French artist, and it's printed with permission. It was made into a cross stitch chart, and I love it. But what I'm having trouble with is the detail. And I started to do some back stitching here, but what I'm afraid of is it's just not going to look that great. So I'm going to continue and really finish the back stitching is very, very, very detailed. It uses a lot of different colors to backstitch and stuff. So I'm going to finish her face and then see what I think. I may contact my girlfriend who's cross-stitched for a long time, but I hate to put hundreds of hours into a project and then not be satisfied with the results. So she's in like a saddle here, and then the rest of the design is a dragon. And it's just stunning, but I don't know. So I stopped working on that a number of months ago. Another one that I started last March is Sweet Spring by M Designs. And this was a kit. And I did this as a travel thing. That's something really easy I can take on an airplane. And we're going to be traveling again pretty soon, and I think I might take this along with me then. So I started that last March, and I purposely started that only to work on travel. The other thing that I worked on early in the year is the Angel of Healing, and I'm not going to take this out of the Q snaps, but I started this about 12 years ago, and I made quite a bit of progress. But then when I got into FlossTube and started, and also when I went to market last year, I started seeing so many other designs I wanted to stitch. And this one just didn't call to me anymore. But I need to get her back out and try to get some work done on her because I really don't have that much more to go. And I did my first little bit of metallic thread here. Just to see how it was going to go and to make sure I didn't get off out of my place there on my counting. So she's just beautiful. Just because I own a cross stitch store doesn't mean that I know a lot about advanced stitching, and I've never done beadwork. So that's going to be a whole new challenge for me too with that design. So those are the things that I've currently got in progress. And, it's not a lot. I watched somebody's whip parade and it was like 37 projects, but that's just not me, and I'm fine with that. But what's really exciting for me is my finishes for the year. So the very first thing I finished was Boo Bear. And this was right after I started watching FlossTube. And this is a Stony Creek design. I believe it's available on our website. And it called for glow-in-the-dark colors, but I substituted just standard DMC colors. So that's finished. Obviously, I haven't fully finished only one thing. The second thing I did was aftermarket. I finished, oh boy, I'm going to have to look it up and tell you the name and the designer for this. But I finished this, I think it's Getaway Ghost. And I'll put down below, I'll put the designer name. But they had a table at market of all kinds of finishes. And I bought a whole bunch of their kits, and they are not selling well at all on my site. And I just don't get it, because the finished designs are absolutely stunning. And the things that you get in the kits, everything you need to finish it. So the Getaway Ghost, first I stitched the outside, and then they had this, what do you call it, toile, is that right? To make the ghost. And then on the inside, you've got a place to keep scissors. I'm sorry, Bo is really bothering me today. And I haven't got the scissors that fit in here yet. And I have a little lock that I need to attach once I get that. But the scissors, there's a fold-up pair of scissors that have black handles that will fit here. And then this is a needle keep. And I learned a new stitch to go around the border. And then the charm all comes with it, and the ribbon came with it. And then you open this up and you can keep your needles in there. And this is just so cool. So someday I'm going to have just a segment on their designs and see if I can get some more interest in that, because it was so fun to do. It was a challenge for me, but it was so fun to do. Another thing that I finished and have not fully finished was So She Did by It's So Emma. And this was a stitch along for our Facebook group, Stitch and Move. And I'll put a link to the Stitch and Move Facebook group below. It's a community of stitchers who encourage each other to stitch and move more. So we all stitched this, or a bunch of us stitched this together. And that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the pattern. And I'm gonna finish it in just a simple kind of country white frame. But I need to get to that yet. And then the other thing I stitched was also for a stitch along sponsored by Cobweb Corner, and it was a sweeping cobwebs by the Prairie Schooler. And there was a lot of us that stitched this, and it was really fun to see how people use different fabric. I used Dense Fog by Witchilt. I think I used 28 count. And oh, excuse me, I'm going to cough again, so hang on. So again, I haven't fully finished it. And what I'm going to try to do is get my girlfriend to go with me and help me get some ideas for how to finish things and do that. I just haven't finished a cross stitch project for so long that I haven't had to think about fully finishing. So those are my finishes for the year. Again, you know, I'm just really happy with it. Even though my numbers aren't huge like a lot of people, I'm thrilled that I got back into stitching, and that FlossTube was a reason for that. And I hope you enjoyed those. Excuse me, sorry for all the noise. So we'll see how this year goes, and we'll see if I do a little bit better. Speaking of stitch-alongs, Cobweb Corner is sponsoring a new stitch-along. It's the Songbirds Garden Series by Cottage Garden Samplings. And I'm going to insert a video pretty soon. I think the video is about 1 minute long, so you can skip it if you want to. And that will show you all 12 charts that are in this series. I've created a Facebook group called Songbird Sal, Songbird SAL. And you can join the Facebook group, and you can choose one or more of the Songbird Garden series to stitch along with everybody in the group. Right now there's only 11 of us in the group, and we would love to have more members. Our official start date is probably going to be February 16th or February 23rd or something like that. So the link to that is below. And here is the video again, if you want to just fast forward about a minute. And here's the video for to show you all the 12 designs that you can choose from. And if you join the group, there is a code that you can use if you want to purchase your chart from Cobweb Corner to give you a discount that I think allows you to buy one chart for $6.50. So here you go. Again, that link is down below, and please share it. If we would love to have you join the group and share away, even if you're not joining, and invite as many people as you think who might be interested in stitching together. My goal is to have at least one person stitching all 12 of the designs, and so far I think only about 4 of the designs have been chosen by people. So we would really like to see all 12 being stitched at the same time. So last week we had a giveaway, and the giveaway was for Barbara Anna Designs A Bird in Hand. We had 16 comments for that, and the winner for that was Desiree Feaster. So Desiree, congratulations. I have your address, and I will get that in the mail to you. So thank you. All right, now we're going to do the sampler history segment. And we are still on, for those of you who are just joining us, I purchased this 2-volume set called Girlhood Embroidery. It's a history of samplers in America from about 1620 through the 1800s. And it is written by Betty Ring. And I'm on volume 1, and I'm just pretty much going straight through the book and choosing different segments to read. And we are still on the chapter on Massachusetts. Excuse me. And this section is called Fishing Lady Pictures. And it says, so fishing, like fishing in a lake for fish. Throughout the 17th and 18th centuries, the elite of New England sent their daughters to Boston to finish their education. In the 20th century, the strongest evidence of this custom is a group of mid-18th century pastoral embroideries called the Fishing Lady Pictures. This name was derived from an article titled The Fishing Lady and Boston Common, which appeared in the magazine Antiques of August 1923, wherein the author Helen Bowen called attention to 7 idyllic embroidered landscapes featuring the same fishing lady. In 1941, Nancy Graves Cabot determined that the Fishing Lady Pictures were the products of Boston boarding schools, and the name was soon applied to related Boston needlework, with or without the fishing lady. The second most commonly found female is a reclining shepherdess. The Fishing Lady group now includes a variety of pastoral compositions in canvas work or crewels on linen, and they may appear on sconces, screens, pictures, chimney pieces, chair seats, valances, samplers, the tops for card tables, or even petticoat borders. Bucolic scenes in canvas work became fashionable in England during the first quarter of the 18th century, and they were in harmony with the literature of the period by poets such as James Thomas and Ambrose Phillips. Pictorial canvas work appeared in Boston in the early 1730s, but with the exception of Norwich, Connecticut, There is no evidence that it became popular in the other American colonies. The fishing lady pictures fall into several major groups, worked with similar styles, in a number of subgroups. Most numerous and cohesive are examples featuring the fishing lady or the motifs that surround her in a variety of different combinations, and worked primarily with crewel yarns in tent stitch. Occasionally, these pieces have painted faces or applied paper faces. Most of Boston's canvas work chimney pieces fall within this group, and Nancy Cabot found many other figures in early prints, but the source for the famous fishing lady is still uncertain. Okay, hang on a second here. Then there's a little bit more just about the types of fishing lady scenes and stuff, and I have a number of samplers that I want to show you. But I wanted to bring out one more thing. Here it is. So it then goes on and it talks about a number of pieces that were found in different left to different families, or referenced in wills and that type of thing. And one of the things that I found interesting was the following, and it discusses how once the girls returned home from boarding school and they had their pieces with them, those pieces didn't belong to the girls, but then belonged to their parents. And this paragraph talks about that a little bit. The coastlines of this Boston education will be revealed in charges to Rufus Green and others. And when girls returned home, the, quote, accomplishments were the property of their parents. Eunice Bourne's chimney piece remained in her mother's household after her marriage and was eventually willed to her daughter, and a work called the Coat of Arms, left to Mercy Bourne Jordan, was probably of her making. In his will of 1774, James Otis made various bequests to his daughter Hannah and added, I also give her both her patchwork counterpans that she made herself and a chimney piece. Richard Derby's will of 1783 included major bequests of money, land, and slaves, but the balance of his estate went to his 2 sons and the heirs of a 3rd son. Consequently, a canvas work chimney piece attributed to Sarah Derby descended through the heirs of her brother, Elias Haskett Derby, rather than through her children. So I thought that was really interesting, that they made special note that the pieces they completed then didn't follow them in marriage normally, that they were then property of the parents. So I'm going to show you some. I'm going to hold up a few of the pieces, and then I'm going to try. I took photos of them, and I'll try to put kind of a montage together and see how that works. So here's the first one, a chimney piece attributed to Eunice Bourne, circa 1748. This was done on wool. And there is the fishing lady with her pole, and she's got a fish on the line. And then they have another one down here with the reclining shepherdess. Oops, sorry. And that one is, let's see, a needlework picture by Susanna Heath, circa 1774. And then a few more. This one is Anne Peartree, 1739. And they talk a little bit about kind of the crazy colors that she used. And down here is A Woman with a Basket by Priscilla Allen, daughter to Mr. Benjamin Allen. And this one is circa 1746. And then we've got this beautiful piece up here. Again, it has a shepherdess and just a ton of detail in that one. And that is a chimney piece by Mary Pickering, circa 1748. And then this is an anonymous needlework, 1750 to 1760, wool and silk on linen. And that is an unfinished piece. And then this is a chimney piece by Hannah Otis, wool, silk, metallic threads, and beads on linen. and it's circa 1750. So aren't those just gorgeous? And I'm gonna see if I can insert better pictures here. So let me give that a try. Okay, my business segment for today is social media. How much time do I spend on social media? So Cobweb Corner is active in 4 different kinds of social media: Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube, of course. And I spend a lot of time. It's actually a part-time job just trying to keep up on Facebook and Instagram. Mostly I'm posting new inventory that came into stock, and then of course I'm making FlossTube videos. Each FlossTube video takes me about a half hour to prepare and decide what I'm going to do, what I'm going to talk about. I make a list and have that in front of me when I'm talking. And then the videos themselves take about 45 minutes, and then it takes me about another 2 hours to edit. I go through the entire video and cut out or insert videos or insert pictures, and make sure that it turned out okay. I re-record if I need to on different parts. Facebook is my next largest, is actually my largest time chunk, and I spend a lot of time. I have the Cobweb Corner Facebook group, and then I have the Stitch and Move group, and I had a Sweeping Cobweb Stitch Along, which is pretty much inactive now, and then I have the new Stitch Along that we're doing for the Songbird Garden series, and then I have an auction group that I try to do an auction format sale every once in a while, and I'm way behind on that. So I've got 4 groups: the auction group, Stitch and Move, the Sweeping Cobwebs, and the new Songbird Stitch Along group, Songbird Garden Stitch Along. So I spend a lot of time trying to keep active in those. I don't do a very good job all the time, and I need to monitor membership requests and things like that. I also post on Instagram a lot. A lot of times the same post that I do on Facebook can also be put on Instagram, and my Instagram following is increasing. On Facebook I have about 3,000 followers, and on Instagram I only have about 230, but at the beginning of the year it was only like 90, so that's come a long ways. And I actually think that there's more of a younger audience on Instagram, so I try to stay up on that as much as I can. And then Pinterest, my website has the ability to pin items, and I have different categories of cross stitch boards, and I try to go through every once in a while. I don't spend a lot of time on it, but I do get a lot of traffic from Pinterest. So I try to find different categories like samplers or Christmas or spring or whatever, and pin popular charts that I think people might be interested when they find those on my boards. So it's a lot of time, hours a week, but it's worth it. It's kind of free because I do paid advertising on pretty much every platform, but I try to limit that, and I try to just stay active and stay involved and reach out to the customers who I know are interested in Cobweb Corner. So that is the business segment for today. I'm kind of hurrying. I have a lot to go through today, and I can tell that I'm talking fast. I apologize. So the new giveaway. The new giveaway is three previously owned charts. And the reason I chose these is, first of all, I really like them, And but they're pre-owned, and they like, this is the two of them are Fancy That. This one is called Snow Catchers. It's so cute. Stacked snowmen. And it's a Fancy That chart, and I've never seen a Fancy That chart on regular paper before. I don't believe it's copied. In fact, I'm sure it's not. It's got the photo and stuff, but it's not. And I don't know if it originally came as a kit. I don't believe that it did. But most of the Fancy That charts are real stiff cardstock. And I have two of them here that aren't. And because I wasn't sure, I'm 99% sure, I'm 99.9% sure that they're just fine, that they are not, quote, copies. Excuse me, because they have the original photo. And actually this one has a sturdy cover page. The second one is Heavenly Honeybee. And then the third one I'm giving away is called For My Friend. It says, when this you see, remember me. And it is designed by Lori Bell, 1994, Dancing Needle. And the reason I'm including that is that it doesn't have a cover picture. And those are hard to sell. I have to scan the pattern, and there's all kinds of stuff with that. So I'm giving all three of these away to one person. So if you would like to win these three charts, say, I'd like to stitch Honeybee. I'd like to stitch Honeybee. And those will be drawn on my next FlossTube giveaway. So that's that. Okay, I want to share. I entered, it's been, like I said, like 3 weeks since my last video, and I have entered a ton of inventory. And rather than risk boring you with all of the different stuff, I'm trying to pick out some newly released designs that are now available at Cobweb Corner. But the first one is not newly released. It's a, let's see if it has a date in here. I don't see a date right off. This is by X's and O's, and I saw this on Hoffman, and I just love it. It's called The 12 Northern Days of Christmas. And look at this. It's the 12 days of Christmas with wild animals. So it's got loons, turkeys, geese, swans, fox, moose, and squirrels. I just love this chart. And it's pretty detailed. I would say each one would be a medium level, just because of the number of colors and stuff like that. So that is by X's and O's, The 12 Northern Days of Christmas. Okay, now some brand new charts. These are just released in the last few weeks. Annie B's Folk Art, Count Your Blessings. Black and White by Bobby G Designs. Watch It Snow. I love this chart. It's got it's by Waxing Moon Designs. It's got snowmen. It says, winter, bundle up, fill your cup, cuddle with your beau, watch it snow. Brand new by Kathy Barrick is Christmas Reindeer Sampler. Says it's a reproduction of an antique sampler. Excuse me. Let me get my drink of water here. Brand new by Stony Creek, Christmas Home. It says, home is the best place to be on Christmas. And then this is just stunning. I'm going to say it wrong. It's Batia, circa 1680, and it's a reversible English band sampler by Hands Across the Sea. Look at that sampler. And it's done in, the sampler was reversibly stitched over 2 and 3 threads. The stitches include 2 different versions of reversible cross stitch. One forms a cross on the reverse with a vertical stitch left, oops, I can't read it, on the left, and the other a 4-sided stitch on the reverse. It also used a double back stitch and diagonal double back stitch. Isn't that stunning? It's a pricey chart, but you know what? I can't imagine reproducing that chart. It's just beautiful. Cross Stitcher in Residence. I don't know that that's a new design by Lizzie Kate, but it's cute. Cross Stitch Fills My Days. Again, that's probably not a newer design. Cross Stitch Fills My Days, not to mention the living room, bedroom, and closets. Abby Rose design. It's Ann Hughes, a reproduction sampler, and it says, "Teach me to feel another's woe, to hide the fault I see. That mercy I to others show, that mercy show to me. This day be bread and peace my lot, all else beneath the sun. Thou knowst if best bestowed or not, and let thy will be done." Isn't that gorgeous? New by Abby Rose. Little House in the Woods. Sorry, almost coughed there. Another new one by Abby Rose is Thankful Hearts. And it says, "They gathered thy bounty with thankful hearts." Let's see, these are not new. Okay, brand new by Plum Street Sampler. For You. This is so cute. It's Santa giving a moose a candy cane. I think that's really cute. A Country Winter, also brand new by Plum Street Samplers. And look at that little snowman. So cute. Not quite sure why there's green grass where the sheep and then there's a snowman, but hey, whatever. Winter Salt Boxes. And I think this fills out the Salt Boxes series by Plum Street Samplers. And I think I have all 4 on my website now. Home for Christmas, also brand new by Plum Street Sampler. And also brand new Rack Stack. Again by Plum Street Samplers. Yes, Bo. Okay. This has been the way it has been all day. For some reason, she really wants attention today. A few other newer and fun ones. I Like to Party, and by I party, I mean nap, and also Just Chillin'. That's by Amy Brukin Designs. Brand new by Kathy Barrick, Gerald. And this is in the Brothers. This is the third sampler in the Brothers series. These, and all of them are just gorgeous. Brand new by Annie Bees, Make Hay While the Sun Shines. Actually, I don't know if that is brand new. Don't see a... No, that's from 2017. I went through and I was searching for sunflower charts. Brand new by Stony Creek, Pumpkins for Sale. There's a whole series of charts with the red truck. There's watermelons for sale. I can't remember what else. I love this chart. This is brand new from Kathy Barrick. Actually, is it? Nope, 2018. Again, I was searching for sunflowers, but I love this chart. It's called Sunflower Farm by Kathy Barrick. And look at the little pigs. I mean, that is so cute. It's got little pigs there. It's so cute. I think this one is brand new by Amy Brukin. It's called Adultish. It's 3 easy patterns. Adult-ish, and then it says Just Another Day of being rich and of not being rich and famous, and Kinda Care, Kinda Don't. Brand new by Abby Rose Designs, Christmas Time. And that's repeats. And then just released for the Prairie Schooler is Barn Cats, and this is the new reprint. I think I had this in stock once in the original format in 20 years of selling cross stitch, and that was way back in the early 2000s. So this is now available in the new floppy format. So lots and lots of new things, and market is coming up. I'm so sad to say that I'm not going to be going to market. I had put myself down. I've got to contact them and let them know I'm not going to be able to come. We are actually in 3 weeks on February 26th going to Mallorca, Spain, and we're going to be gone for 8 days. Excuse me, I'm going to get another drink. I'm sorry. So we're leaving on February 26th. We're gone for 8 days. We get home March 3rd. And we went to Mallorca last year in the beginning of February. And that would have been before I started FlossTube. So I probably didn't talk about it. And we loved it. And we were there in the off season, and we're going back, and we in order to get a decent airfare, we had to stay 6 nights. So we fly one night, and then we stay at the resort that we're at in Mallorca for 6 nights, and then we come home. So we get back like 3 days before the market starts. And I just can't imagine being gone for 8 days and then getting right back on a plane. So I think I'm going to skip. But there's all kinds of new designs that will be coming out for market too. So I want to end today's FlossTube. I've been reading a poem out of The Rose That Blooms in the Night by Ali Michelle. I found this at Barnes & Noble. There is a link to this book in my Amazon shop, and the link to that is down below. So you can find this book on Amazon. Just go down and click on my Amazon shop link, and then I have a section for books, and it's The Rose That Blooms in the Night. Excuse me. One more drink before we read here. I really apologize, but it was either wait another week or try to get through this. So today's poem is called The Danger of Doubt. The danger of doubt. Doubt is like a thief in the night who sneaks through the back door of your mind. He steals the dreams and ideas that dance across your imagination before you even dare bring them into reality. Doubt wears the mask of logic, telling you it has all been done before, so it is best not to allow your heart to be crushed under the weight of failure. You can write that book next year. You can make that movie or paint that painting when you have the money to buy back your time. Doubt has forgotten that creativity is not a career. It is nourishment that is essential to our being. When he sneaks into your mind, catch him in the act with your awareness before he reduces the magic to the mundane. I love that poem. I love the part where it says creativity is not a career, it is nourishment, that it's essential to basically nourishment to our souls. And all of us that do cross stitch, I think, can relate to that. So I hope you enjoy that. That's it for FlossTube number 35. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video and you haven't already done so, please subscribe, and also please share with anyone you think might be interested. Thanks a lot, everybody, and happy stitching.